Okay, good morning, committee members and other parties of interest. The evaluation committee meeting for RPS 24-24645, the miscellaneous professional stormwater engineering services SBE set aside, will be held in parts by means of communications media technology. Active participation will be for committee members only, and provisions have been made for any member of the public desiring to have access to view the meeting. My name is Sybil Tucker. I am the procurement analyst for this project. For the record, this meeting is being recorded and has been publicly noticed. At this time, I will ask each committee member to introduce themselves for the record, and we'll begin with the committee chair.
Larry Webster.
Check.
Ron Stein. Kyle Bowman.
Okay, committee, thank you. We'll evaluate, discuss, and score by consensus the proposals received for this project. Each proposal will be is to be evaluated based on information provided in their proposal as it correlates to the requirements and evaluation criteria set forth in this solicitation, and not any prior experience with the firm. The proposals will be scored based on the following criteria, and that is the ability of the firm and its professional personnel, for a possibility of 40 points. The firm's experience with projects of similar type and size for a possibility of 30 points. Firm's willingness and ability to meet schedule and budget requirements for a possibility of 10 points. The effect of the firm's recent, current, and projected workload for a possibility of 5 points. And the effect of the project team location for a possibility of 15 points, for a total possibility of 100 points. We also have bonus points for the equal opportunity and affirmative action, the past performance, and the volume of work. Those points will be provided by myself at the end of the meeting. And we will, at that point, we will list all the scores and the totals and the ranking of those proposals. So if there are any comments or questions from the committee, then I will turn the meeting over to the committee chair to begin the discussion and the scoring. Please proceed.
We'll start with A2O. Start with Kyle.
So for the first evaluation criteria, number one, ability of firm and professional personnel, I give it 18.
At 15.
At a 16.
And runs outliers. So. 16. Seem reasonable? Yes.
Is 16 your consensus?
I'll say each member, we'll just keep focus for this one.
You just try to elevate your voice a little bit. Air is going on.
Second evaluation criteria, firm's experience with projects of similar type and size, I gave it 13.
I only gave it an 8.
I gave this 16.
Give it a 5. Well, it's reasonable. Sounds reasonable. Yeah.
Committee okay with consensus? 12.
Yep. Criteria 3, firm's willingness and ability to meet schedule and budget requirements, I gave it 8.
I only gave it a 6.
8.
5. Let's go with 7.
That sound?
Sounds good. Yes, sir.
7 is your consensus?
Yes. Yes.
Criteria 4, effective folks, recent, current, and projected workload, I gave it 5.
Get 4.
5.
Gave it a 4. Go with 5.
Is 5 your consensus?
Yeah.
Do locate the, let's do the, location now as well.
Yes.
For location, I gave them,
12 for the location.
first one.
So this is for appliance sciences now, first evaluation criteria. I'm not gonna keep repeating the criteria, but for the first evaluation criteria, I give it 38.
I gave it 39.
40.
Gave them 38. Let's go with 39. That's it.
Sounds good.
39 is your consensus?
Yes.
Yes.
Criteria 2, I gave it 29.
I gave it a 30.
I give it a 30.
29.
Yep.
What was your Ron?
30.
So 30.
28. Go with 29 as that sound.
Sounds good. 29.
So 29 is your consensus?
Yes.
Yes.
Criteria 3, I give it 10.
I gave it 10.
10.
10. This is 10.
So 10 is your consensus?
Criteria 4, I gave it 5.
I gave it 5.
5.
5. This is 5.
5 is the consensus?
For location, I gave it 15.
15 location. Before we get too much further, I do want to just make mention to, as you're doing your story, we do kind of need some discussion on how you're getting to the store. So I hate to do this, but since we're not too far gone, we need to just kind of be consistent. So, and again, I apologize, I hate to do this, but can we just kind of back up a little bit and go back to the first one? And I know we got through them, but we really need to encourage some discussion on how you arrive at those sorts.
Do you want us to go back through each?
Yeah, if you don't mind, I apologize, but we want to
Sure.
just be thorough.
So I can start for A2O, the first criteria. After reviewing it, I thought the project team personnel had an adequate level of experience. Project team contained all necessary disciplines. Organization of project team was adequate to the project. Prime firm had adequate professional resources to properly provide services. prime firm had adequate understanding of the proposed project, what will be required to complete it. Those project managers' qualifications were adequate.
And most of the elements were there for A2O, no wetland or miscellaneous drainage, but not as much more in the water treatment plant, so.
I just like run through sort of.
Go ahead.
Well, for the first category, I agreed it was adequate, understanding, but no resumes were provided. Then second one, it was similar, as municipalities, but they weren't stormwater projects. And so then not enough details in the unique issues or abilities.
Most seem like most of their project teams were, well, project team to me didn't seem to have an appropriate level of qualifications or at least experience. Most of their work, as Ron had said, seemed to be in water and wastewater related work. That's all that I need to say for that.
I guess go through each criteria.
Yeah, just go through each criteria.
For the second criteria, after reviewing the proposal, I thought prime firm had adequate projects that they submitted. The approach was adequate. And some of the scope of services provided for the projects were similar to the RPS.
So for the second one, I had mainly water, wastewater, and not really Hillsborough County projects.
Sorry, I misunderstood before and I went through my list. So yes, they were municipal projects, but not stormwater.
Let's put prime firm has marginal experience with projects of a similar size. I'd say, because they were just not, to me, not related to what we're looking at with this contract. Again, it's more water, wastewater related. 3,
Criteria 3, I thought the submittal showed a good understanding of the approach to scope, schedule, and budget.
Thought the plan was okay, but not very clear in terms of the response times.
I agree with good understanding, but it didn't have the potential improvements or project delivery and cost savings.
but submittal shows adequate schedule approach, understanding of budget controls. 4, effectiveness of the firm.
Criteria 4, I thought the submittal showed that the project team had adequate staffing. They also indicated backup staffing capability.
The one thing that I was looking at was, yes, everything seemed okay, but a lot of it is parts.
Submittal shows the adequate staffing and capability with backup.
But the submittal showed consultants had, the project team had adequate time and availability.
Like the sciences, or then you wanted to talk about the project location.
Yeah, just mention, why you gave it.
That was one of their consultants was not in the area, Virginia. And most of the work a lot of the work that we're planning to do requires staff to be here.
Okay, so and again, I'm just gonna recap until we get back to the next term. So for A2O Consulting LLC, after you gave your comments, the scores, the consensus scores are as follows: for ATO Consulting, a 16 for criteria 1, 12 for criteria 2, 7 for criteria 3, 5 for criteria 4, and a 12 for criteria 5. Thank you. If we can just go to applied science and again give your brief comments, and then we'll move forward from there.
Criteria 1, applied sciences, reason for my score was, the project team had a superior level of experience, several were uniquely qualified. It contained all necessary disciplines, organization of the team was superior understanding of the proposed project and what's required to complete it. Proposed project manager is uniquely qualified.
I had basically 12 staff with 3 SPB, all superior, including 2 ex-Stormwater, so they know their stuff, at least what we need, and EPC and SWIFT money, so superior.
Had superior experience with uniquely qualified staff and superior understanding of the proposed project.
And the project team personnel have superior level of experience. Sybil had uniquely qualified, project team contained all necessary disciplines, organization, project team is.
For criteria 2, I thought the prime firm had superior past and recent successful experience with similar projects. Approach and methods were superior. All of the scope of services requested were provided for in RPS.
Basically, I got the same as Kyle does, the range projects, type, size, and methodology. Excellent. It's very.
I agree. I had all 5 projects were superior in their scope and type and size to what we're looking for.
Prime firm has superior past and recent successful experience with projects similar size and type. Very well worded submittal. Prime firm's approach and methods proposed were superior to provided level of service required for the project.
Criteria 3, about the submittal to a superior understanding and approach to the scope of schedule and budget and potential improvements for project delivery and cost savings.
Superior plan presented is proven works and effective. So
I agree, superior understanding of the project and scope, with specific examples for further accelerating schedule firms unique abilities.
Submittal showed a superior understanding and approach of the scope and schedule budget.
Criteria 4, the submittal showed demonstrated adequate staffing and indicated backward staffing capability.
superior, obviously, to team and forest from that part of the projected to not exceed the 70 to 45% max actually until August 25.
They showed the 12-month projected availability with their 3 subs and varying availability, which is adequate.
Submittal showed consultants project team has adequate staffing available to complete the services schedule. And for the location, I gave them 15 here, 100% in
Okay, thank
the
you.
local area.
Okay, thank you. And again, I'll just recap those consensus scores for applied sciences. Criteria 1, a consensus of 39. Criteria 2, consensus of 29. Criteria 3, consensus of 10. Criteria 4, consensus of 5. Criteria 5, score of 15. And, okay, so we're going to go on to the third firm, Cardinal. And again, if you could just have your discussion and then do your scores. We'll proceed that in that manner going forward. Thank you.
So, Cardinal Engineering Collective for the first evaluation criteria, I gave a score of 16. Some team personnel at adequate level of qualifications and experience. Team lacks minor disciplines. Organization is marginal. Prime firms, professional resources to provide services are marginal.
The owner was Swift Mud, which was pretty good, but most relevant technical support was by HDR and not SBE. So I gave only 27.
I gave a 30 with average experience with the prime, but it's relying heavily on subs for the qualification.
16.
Gave him a 21. The project team personnel have adequate level of experience. Organization of the project team is adequate for the project, although they seem to be very reliant on consultants or subs to themselves. And it's like, yeah, 21. And sure, so. Doing that. 24. Before.
So 24 is your consensus?
Yes.
Criteria 2, I gave a score of 12, and I thought the prime firm had an adequate, successful, recent experience with projects of similar size and type.
I gave him a 19. It's adequate with good range and range, but only one was assigned to prime and not in drainage.
I gave a 19. There was some missing information, including there was no cost provided for any of the projects and other criteria. So some of the projects were municipal but not stormwater, others were similar, but again, had that missing information. So 19.
I gave him a 16. Project team had adequate successful on. Recent within the past 5 years experience. Most of the scope of services provided for representative projects are similar to the old building. So, let's go with 17.
That sounds good.
So 17 is your consensus?
Yes. Criteria 3, I gave a score of 8. The submittal showed a good understanding, approach, the scope, schedule, and budget.
I gave a 9, clear description, perhaps to rely on one person, but backup seemed sufficient.
What was your score?
9.
I gave it 8. There's a good understanding of the approach and scope, but there were no unique issues or abilities discussed or no discussion on project schedule being further developed.
The outlier, I gave him a 6. But shows adequate level of approach, understanding, budget controls. About 8.
Sounds good. 8.
So 8 is your consensus?
Yes.
Yes. Criteria 4, I gave a score of 5. Of the submittal, showed project team is adequate staffing and indicated backup staffing.
I gave a 5. Brian seems to be okay. The team seems to have enough availability, but most it says, but 5.
I gave a 5. It adequate backup and availability.
And on the outlier, gave him a 4. Something's project team has adequate time and availability personnel. I have a consensus of 5.
So 5 is your consensus?
Yeah.
Yes.
For location, I gave him a 15.
15 for location.
Project teams, locals. Okay, so for Grissom. Number 1, ability of the firm.
For Christmas Smith, criteria number 1, I gave a score of 28. Thought the personnel had an above average level of experience, uniquely qualified project manager, contained all necessary disciplines.
I gave a 32. It seemed not heavily reliant on a lot of brain issues, but it seemed to have top heavy. So
I gave it 38. I thought it was superior experience and uniquely qualified staff.
The outlier here, I give them 23. Project team personnel have adequate level of experience. And prime firm has adequate professional resources to properly provide services. Guys, think about a consensus of, say, 30-ish, 30.
So 30 is your consensus?
Yes, 30.
For criteria number 2, I gave a score of 16. Thought the prime firm had more than adequate, successful recent projects, similar size, type, approach and methods were above average. What did you score? 13? 16? 16.
He gave a score of 24, one good example, and scale and type. The rest were not exactly the type.
Gave a score of 25. Some were similar in scope, but not for private, not municipal, and some were more than 5 years old. And others were similar in scope and size.
Gave him a 10. Client firm has minor successful experience with projects of similar size and type. So. That, 20. That'll work.
20 your consensus?
Yes.
Criteria 3, I gave a score of 9. Superior understanding of approach to scope, schedule, and budget.
I gave it an 8. CPM for the PM of large projects participate. Many PM project management were to be small and short in duration. These were not. 8.
I gave an 8. I think that showed, this model showed a good understanding of the scope, schedule, and budget, but no unique issues or firm abilities discussed, or no suggestions further accelerating schedule.
I give him a 7. This middle showed a good understanding of the approach to the scope, schedule, budget. So, go with a consensus of 8.
8 is your consensus?
Yes. Criteria 4, I gave a score of 5. The submittal showed adequate staffing availability. It's an indication of backup staff availability.
What were you scoring?
5.
I gave it a 4. They showed the 5 top people availability. Not sure about the actual staff or people.
I gave it 5. I thought adequate staffing available and indication of backup.
Gave him a 4. Middle showed consultants project team was adequate time availability. Let's see, 5.
Yes.
5 is your consensus?
It's consistent. Project team, I gave him 12. Other staff was outside local area. That's why he has a 12. Dolphin Lane,
Strategic engineers, criteria number 1, I get a score of 20. But the project team at an adequate level of experience did contain all necessary disciplines. Organization was adequate for projects. Project firm had adequate resources to properly provide services.
I had a little bit higher than that, 33. They do have some stuff that is well balanced in case the in stormwater discipline, several were very strong, but several, was a lot of extra fluff.
I gave it 33 as well, with superior level experience and all the disciplines were covered, or they were exceeding the 2-page maximum of the resumes.
Gave them 17. Permit adequate professional resources to properly provide the services. As far as adequate understanding of the proposed project scope, all will be required. So. The separation. Five. Good.
25 is your consensus?
Criteria number 2, you gave a score of 14, but the front for kind of adequate projects that were submitted, a similar size and type. Front doors approach and methods were adequate to provide the level of service required for the project.
I had 24. Most were in development and drainage, but good in the size and type of the projects.
I had 18. There was some missing information, like what year these projects were done. And they were similar, but more heavily site development. So adequate.
Give a 10. Firm has minor success experience with projects of similar size and time. At least my perspective. $17. 17 census.
17,
Criteria number 3, I gave a score of 9. I thought the submittal shows superior understanding of approach to scope, schedule, and budget.
I had a 7. Didn't seem to be intended for a single PM for large projects. Basically, just one single PM for large projects, but not that. Many of them are going to be small and short durations. I gave 7.
Gave a 9. There's superior understanding for the scope. There was a lack of details for project schedule and unique issues were addressed.
Give a 6. Bill shows that, but schedule and approach, understanding, budget, goals, etc. So 9, 7, 6. Seven or 8. What do you guys think? 7 or 8? 7. 7 seems reasonable.
so 7 is your
7 is
consensus?
6. It says it's
Criteria 4, I gave a score of 5. I thought the submittal showed the project team with adequate staffing and indicated adequate staffing.
I gave it a 4. I didn't show a percentage of availability, so. We'll leave it at 5.
It 4 as well, because the percentage of the load is unknown and the backup was different specialty than.
Game of 5. Spill show consultants project team with adequate staff and available services. Five's in.
Two.
We go with five.
Yeah.
Since it's five.
5.
And for location, equals 12. So their staff was in the area, but there was one that was out of the area. So that's why I gave.
12, okay.
Yes, Lago, number one.
For Lago Consulting and Services for the first evaluation criteria, I gave a score of 31. I thought the project team had above average level of experience. Project manager was uniquely qualified. The project team contained the whole necessary disciplines.
I gave it 35. The crime was appeared very strong in modeling students. So
It scored 40. I thought that the team personnel had superior level experience and uniquely qualified.
Give it 31. Project personnel above average level experience. Project manager was uniquely qualified. Project team contained all the necessary disciplines. So with 35.
35 is your consensus?
Yes.
yes,
Criteria number 2, I gave a score of 23. But Prime Firm has superior past and recent successful experience with similar type projects. Prime Firm's approach and methods superior to provide the level of service required for the project.
I gave it 27. Superior good examples of scale, type, strong presentation. A bit too technical than needed, but for most of these earmarked projects that we have.
Gave it 30. The prime firm had superior past and recent successful experience with similar type and size.
$17. The prime firm had more than adequate successful experience within the last 5 years to raise with projects of similar size and type. The outlier. It's stricter than you guys.
Always the case.
It's more on the conservative side. It's to be a recurring theme here. Guess about 25.
So 25 is your consensus?
Yes.
Criteria 3, I gave a score of 9. Thought the submittal showed a superior understanding of his approach to scope.
I gave it 8, 12% of their understanding methodology to keep track.
Gave a 9. They discussed unique abilities. There are no details on unique issues, but expedited was discussed.
Give an 8. It'll show good understanding of their approach and scope, schedule, etc. Guess 9.
That works.
So 9 is your consensus?
Yes.
Criteria 4, I gave a score of 5. Of the submittal showed the project team had adequate staffing availability, indication of backup staff.
I've also given 5, but appears there's sufficient availability and backup.
Also give it 5, sufficient, adequate availability and the past, present teacher projections and backup staffing discussed.
Gave before adequate time available personnel, complete services. So we'll go with 5.
So 5 is your consensus?
Yes.
Location, gave 15. And we're on the local.
15 for location.
How do you want to go with number 1?
So for land and water engineering science, for the first evaluation criteria, I gave a score of 30. I thought the proposed project team had above an average level of experience and that the project manager is uniquely qualified. The project team contained all necessary disciplines.
Gave a 38. Very familiar with stormwater at the times. Good balance of personnel. 15.
Give it 40, superiors, experience, uniquely qualified staff and all necessary disciplines.
Gave 27. Above average level of experience in the project manager and uniquely qualified. $35.
35 is your consensus?
Yes, yes.
For criteria number 2, I gave a score of 22. The prime firm submitted superior capacity recent projects of similar size and type. The approach and methods proposed were superior to provide for the level of service on this project.
I gave it 28. The exams were a bit large, but simplistic.
I gave them 30, I thought that they were superior past the recent successful projects with similar size and type.
I gave it 17. My firm had more than adequate success with race in the past 5 years. Experience with projects of similar size and range. What's the scope of services provided? For projects will represent similar to what we're requesting. So. $27. Consensus.
Yes.
27?
Yes.
Yes. Criteria 3, I gave a score of 10. This submittal showed superior understanding of and approach, scope, schedule, and budget with potential improvements for project delivery and cost savings.
I gave an 8. Description is more for 1 PM for large projects, anticipate several PM and small, so short duration projects.
I gave a 10. I thought there's a superior understanding of the scope with specific examples for controls, how personnel is assigned, unique issues, and abilities.
Gave a 7. Spill shows good understanding. Approach, spell, schedule, budget. So. 9?
None.
So 9 is your consensus?
9,
Yes. Criteria 4, I give a score of 5. And I thought this submittal showed that the project team had adequate staffing available for the project. And there's an indication of backup staffing, so I'll just push store. 5 or this one 5.
I also have 5 appears sufficient and availability and backup.
I had 5 that had adequate staffing and redundant staffing was mentioned specifically.
4. Screenshot of solved by the team has adequate time available personnel to complete the services. The 5.
Yep.
5 is your consensus?
Location in local, so all your staff was all gave 15.
Okay, 15 for location.
Great. So for lighthouse engineering, for the first evaluation criteria, I gave a score of 16. Some of the project team had adequate level of qualifications and experience, but lacked minor disciplines. Organization was marginal, prime first professional resources to provide services were marginal. Those project manager qualifications were
What was your score?
16.
Actually, I also gave 16. I was looking at the personnel, but it all was in transportation, drainage, pond siding, etc. Compared to DOT drainage, seems to be more incidental. So 16.
I gave it 32. I thought they had average level of experience, but and while they were highly experienced, it wasn't required disciplines.
Gave the 17. Project teams personnel have adequate level experience. Project team contains all necessary disciplines.
We're on the outlier.
Yeah.
So.
Towards our scores.
So probably look at the third two as an outlier.
So maybe 17.
So 17 of those.
Sure.
So 17 is your consensus?
Yes, yes.
Criteria number 2, I gave a score of 10. And thought there was minor successful experience with projects of similar size and type. Prime first approach and methods were inadequate for the provided level of service on this project. And the scope of services varied from the RPS.
I gave a 9, mainly a road and transportation project, not really geared to drainage.
I gave it 18. There's some missing information and the drainage was incidental to the main point of each of these projects presented. So they were similar but not superior.
And on the outlier. My firm has marginal experience with projects of the similar size and type. So what we're looking for.
What was your number?
All of 5.
That much of an outlier.
10, 7, 10. Reasonable.
So 10 is your consensus?
Yes, 10.
The third criteria, I gave a score of 7. The submittal showed a good understanding of the scope, schedule, and budget, and showed that the budget and schedule could be met.
I also have a 7 pretty well described, including methodology and operations.
In a 9, they have a severe understanding of the schedule, but and the expedited work is discussed, but no details on any issues.
Gave a 6, middle shows adequate schedule approach, understanding. So that's such controls.
So
So 7, 7, yes.
7 consensus.
That maybe is your consensus.
Yes.
Effectiveness of the firm. Or effective the firm's consent with the project, projected work.
Work criteria, I gave a score 4. And I thought the submittal showed the project team had an adequate time and availability to complete the services.
I also gave a 4, seems to have enough availability.
I gave 3. It wasn't clear if they had available until October 2024 and no backup specifically mentioned.
Gave a 4. Middle showed consultant for project team at adequate time and availability. 1.
Before it was
4 is your consensus.
yes.
Mal sitting there saying, don't keep looking at me.
In that direction.
For the location, I gave them 15 local.
Okay, I think that's it for the scores. So I will recap all the scores and will include the bonus points and give the final total for each. So starting with A2O Consulting LLC. Criteria 1, you had a consensus of 16. Criteria 2, consensus of 12. Criteria 3, consensus of 7. Criteria 4, consensus of 5. Criteria 5, a score of 12. For the EE, Equal Opportunity Affirmative Action Bonus Points, they got 4 points. Past performance, they received 3 points. For volume of work, they received 5 points, for a total of 64 points for A2O Consulting. For Applied Sciences Consulting Inc., Criteria 1, we had a consensus of 39. Criteria 2, consensus of 29. Criteria 3, consensus of 10. Criteria 4, consensus of 5. Criteria 5, a score of 15. The EEOAA bonus points, they received a score of 4. Past performance of a score of 5. Volume of work, score of 0. For a total of 107 points. For Cardinal Engineering Collective LLC, Criteria 1, they received a score of 24. Criteria 2, consensus of 17. Criteria 3, consensus of 8. Criteria 4, consensus of 5. Criteria 5, a score of 15. For the EEO bonus points, they received 4 points. Past performance, 3 points. Volume of work, 5 points, for a total of 81 points. For Grissom Smith LLC, Criteria 1, they received consensus of 30. Criteria 2, consensus of 20. Criteria 3, consensus score of 8. Criteria 4, consensus score of 5. Criteria 5, they received a score of 12. For the EEOAA bonus point, they received 4 points. Past performance, 3 points. Volume of work, 5 points, for a total of 87 points. Gulf Atlantic Engineers, Criteria 1, they received a consensus score of 25. Criteria 2, consensus of 17. Criteria 3, consensus score of 7. Criteria 4, consensus score of 5. Criteria 5, a score of 12. For the EEOAA bonus points, they received 4. Past performance, 3 points. Volume of work, 5 points, for a total of 78 points. For Lago Consulting and Services LLC, criteria 1, they received a consensus score of 35. Criteria 2, consensus score of 25. Criteria 3, consensus score of 9. Criteria 4, a consensus score of 5. Criteria 5, a score of 15. For the EEOAA bonus points, they received 4 points. Past performance, 3 points. Volume of work, 5 points, for a total of 101 points. For Land and Water Engineering Science, Inc., criteria 1, they received a score of 35. Criteria 2, consensus score of 27. Criteria 3, consensus score of 9. Criteria 4, consensus score of 5. Criteria 5, a score of 15. For the EEOAA bonus points, they received 4 points. Past performance, 3 points. Volume of work, 12 points, for a total of 103 points. For Lighthouse Engineering, Inc., criteria 1, they received a consensus score of 17. Criteria 2, consensus score of 10. Criteria 3, consensus score of 7. Criteria 4, consensus score of 4. Criteria 5, a score of 15. For the EEOAA bonus points, a score of 4. Past performance, score of 3. Past volume of work, a score of 5, for a total of 65 points. Okay, and that concludes the recap. Ranking of the firms are as follows. Applied Sciences Consulting is ranked number 1 with 107 points. Land and Water Engineering Science, ranked number 2 with 103 points. Lago Consulting and Services LLC, ranked number 3 with 101 points. Grissom Smith LLC, ranked number 4 with 87 points. Cardinal Engineering Collective, ranked number 5 with 81 points. Gulf Atlantic Engineers, ranked number 6 with 78 points. Lighthouse Engineering, Inc., ranked number 7 with 65 points. And A2O Consulting LLC, ranked number 8 with 64 points. Are all of the committee members in agreement with the consensus scores arrived at today?
Yes.
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 And so with that said, I've stated the ranking. The committee will need to decide whether you would like to, if you would like to have oral presentation, or if you feel you need oral presentations, or from the top 3 ranked firms, as the RPS document stated that we would have, if the committee chooses or requires the oral presentation from the top 3 ranked firms. If not, the committee could decide to proceed with the selection and recommendation of award for the amount of firms that the department decides to award contracts to. So as a committee, please determine whether you want to proceed with oral presentations, or if you would like to proceed with the selection and the recommendation of award for the top ranked firm.
It seemed like we needed oral presentations from my perspective. I guess.
I agree. I agree.
And as far as the number,
Mm-hmm.
we're only going to select 2, top 2.
Okay, so the committee has decided that they do not want to proceed or do not feel that more presentations are needed and would like to proceed with recommending the selection of or to firms as a department has decided they are awarding 2 contracts for this project. So that's back at that. The evaluation and scoring of RPS 2424645 and miscellaneous professional stormwater engineering services SBE set aside has completed the evaluation and scoring. The committee chair is required to provide me with a summary of this meeting. Once I receive the summary, I will post the notice of intent to recommend award. At which point I will post that notice and fire. There is a 5-day protest period. If no protest is received, then we will proceed with the selection and the recommendations to award the top 2 ranked firms as the department is requiring the award of 2 contracts for this project. So there are no other comments or questions from the committee. That will conclude our meeting for today. Again, for the evaluation of RPS 2424645, the miscellaneous professional stormwater engineering services, the SBE set aside project. Thank you, committee, for your time and attention today. And that will conclude this meeting. Thank you all.
Thanks, Sybil.